Hey, what's up? It's Hunter Nelson with Tortoise and Hare Software, and I want to thank you for downloading the 10-point checklist for high-performing ad groups in Google Ads. And I've recorded this video here for you as a supplement to the checklist to walk through some of the rationale and reasoning behind the items created in the checklist. Now, before we dive in, just want to say that the checklist is a kind of set of best practices. It does not have to be always followed to the letter, but if you do follow all the items within the checklist and kind of understand the rationale behind them in this video, you really can't go wrong with that approach, and you'll have solidly performing ad groups. So without further ado, let's get started. All right. So the first item on our checklist is that your ad group has tightly themed keywords. And we're going to look at a couple examples that kind of back up the items within this checklist that are in the Tortoise and Hare software ad account. So I'm going to pop over here to our first kind of example, and we'll look at some of the keywords in this ad group. Okay, so we've got 3 keywords within this ad group, and I just kind of want to show you quickly a violation of this best practice. So this ad group is called the MSP social media ad group, and you can see that these first 2 keywords here are tightly themed and match the ad group. But we have this third keyword here that's IT social media, IT company social media. And although it matches kind of the overall concept of the ad group, a more successful ad group or Google Ads account strategy would be to split this into its own ad group. And the reason behind that is because you really want to write ads that support where the copy supports the keywords and search terms that are going to be coming through as part of the keywords that you've selected. So this isn't the worst setup here, but it can lead to lower quality scores and less ideal performance on your ads. And you can kind of see here that the quality scores on this one are a little bit low. This is a relatively new ad group, so it's still kind of in the initial push phase and hasn't been optimized yet. But I'll pop over to another set of ads here in a ad group for MSP lead generation, and you can see that we have some tightly themed keywords here, and their quality score is going to be a 7 out of 10. And part of that is because like the ad copy here, MSP lead generation, pretty much exactly matches that the keywords that were selected for this particular ad group. And when the keywords match up really well with the ad copy, that's going to result in higher quality scores and more cost savings for you. Okay, so our next best practice here is that the ad group has a dedicated landing page. So I'm going to pop back over here to our original ad groups surrounding MSP social media and kind of show you the ad group that goes behind the ads that are written for that particular ad group. So boom, right here we have a landing page that has practical tips and resources to help you start marketing your MSP on social media. So the copy resonates very well with the particular keywords that we're targeting, and is dedicated for that particular ad group and that particular theme. And just real quickly, I'll show you another example of kind of how this one is, what a non-ideal setup looks like. So I have another landing page here that the copy resonates really well with IT company lead generation. So it specifically starts to refer to companies as information technology companies throughout most of the copy on this landing page. And a I also have ad groups that are specifically geared around IT company lead generation right here, and have keywords that support that and ads that support that particular landing page. And just one kind of thing to notice here is that I also have some ad groups here for MSP marketing and IT company marketing. And but I'm sending those to the IT company lead generation page. And a good thing to do and to kind of support your ad groups is to create a page that would be very similar to this one and discuss being able to generate leads for MSPs through marketing, but have the copy more focused and resonate a lot more closely to the copy that the ads that you're advertising towards and the ads that you're writing the copy within them. So, I have a roadmap item on my list here to help with Google Ads performance to create an MSP marketing landing page, and then have the copy and the pictures and just the theme of the page talk to more of like people that are searching for marketing rather than people that are searching for lead generation specifically. So that's going to lead to much higher performance and more conversions, and the cost of creating that additional landing page over time will be recouped by more effective ad copy and conversion rates within your Google Ads account, assuming you're spending high enough volume to kind of recoup that cost over time. All right, so that's our second bullet point here for ad group has a dedicated landing page. Our next check kind of point here is going to be that your ad group has at least one responsive search ad and 3 expanded text ads. Now, this is actually one additional expanded text ad than Google themselves recommends, but I like to do one responsive search ad and 3 expanded text ads, and I'll show you why real quickly. So coming back over here to our MSP social media ad group, we can see that this ad group has all of those elements. So we have one responsive search ad right here, and then we have 3 expanded text ads. And the additional expanded text ad that may not necessarily be recommended by Google is to always have a dynamic keyword insertion based ad. So, kind of your responsive search ad is your catch-all ad. It's going to generate those unique combinations that really helps facilitate discovery of new ads, because, over time, as the ad delivers, you'll be able to see information here on what Google thinks is the highest performing combination of responsive search ads. And you can click on this view asset details here, and then come over here to this combinations tab. And you'll start to see that Google's already starting to think that this particular combination of headlines and description is one of the highest performers because it's generating the most set of impressions. So that's a good clue that you can use to help increase quality scores and create higher performing expanded text ads that they're the ones that Google likes within the option. There's 2 kind of considerations. There's what you as the advertiser want, and there's what Google wants, and you need to play kind of the game of striking a balance where both of those parties are happy. Coming back to the ads here though, so your responsive search ad is a good kind of discovery tool. It's your catch-all tool, and then you're going to create kind of 2 expanded search or expanded text ads here. And this is really just going to be for running a split test. So you want to create these 2 expanded text ads that are your best guess on what a high performing static ad will be. So it's the same ad every time. Just kind of looking at these 2 expanded text ads here in the context of a split test, as in only these 2 ads and pretending these 2 don't exist. We can see this one right here is generating nearly double the impressions of the other one, and has a higher click-through rate and has generated 3 conversions, whereas this one has had 0. So, we can clearly see that this ad is performing much better than this ad in this particular ad group. So, kind of once all of these ads hit at least 100 impressions, is when I would look to kind of duplicate this ad and pause this one and create a slight variant of this particular ad to help continue to refine the copy and see what is the best combination, and what may be kind of the trigger points within the copy that are the activators that people are really interested in. I could flip these descriptions. I could speak to complimentary service offerings. I could test what call to action resonates better. There's a lot of different things that you can test out. But the purpose of the 2 expanded text ads here is really for like a split test of your best guess on ideal combinations. Your responsive search ad is for discovery. And this 4th ad is kind of a secret weapon that I like, is to always have that dynamic keyword ad running. And if you don't know what dynamic keyword insertion is, Google will attempt to insert the specific search query that the person searched whenever they saw your ad and substitute it in right here. And if for some reason that search term was too long, or Google otherwise decides that it's not able to be substituted here, there's a fallback here on the social media guide for MSPs. And you could split test these if you wanted to. I might incorporate a dynamic keyword insertion ad here that uses this copy and a substitution. But you can see the effect of that in that this particular dynamic keyword insertion ad has the highest click-through rate percentage of the ads in the account. The conversion rate is a little bit lower. But this is, with these 4 ads as a starting point, that's a good way to kind of create a high performing ad group is these 4. And you can kind of see the purpose of each individual one and how they help you narrow in on what is going to be the strongest performing ad within the ad groups. And if none of these are performing particularly well, then that you either need to blow away the kind of overall content strategy of the copywriting within the ads, or you've got a landing page problem, or you can, start to rule out at least that first attempt. All right, so we covered this checkpoint here. The next checkpoint within the ad group for high performing ad groups is going to be that each ad has at least one call to action within it. For instance, call now. Now if we come back over here towards our MSP social media ad group, we can see we've got a couple different calls to action here. We've got download today, get practical tips and resources for your MSP, download our free 5-page ebook. So this is a very encouraging ad. We're saying do this. This is what the action that we want you to take. So it guides the person along within the journey of them reading the ad. So you want to have at least one call to action within your ad. You can see that in most cases I have at least 2 call to actions within these ads, but you definitely want at least one. Okay, so next sort of phrase, and this is one that in particular that this is a best practice, but it's not always you must follow this one to the letter. But I can kind of show you how that's going to influence quality scores, and you have to balance the needs of the advertiser versus the needs of Google and things like that. But the next checkpoint here is that does each ad use a keyword in the headline 1 or 2 position? So coming back over to our ad group here, if we look at the keywords here, we've got MSP social media and IT company social media really to choose from. So these are the kind of search terms that we're trying to match on. So ideally what you want to do is use that search term within your ad copy. So MSP social media, We have it right here in the responsive search ad, but it's not in any of our DKI app, dynamic keyword insertion ads, or our expanded text ads. So just overall, like this ad group here doesn't really have like the exact keyword phrase used up top, like in the headline 1 or 2 position. And you really want that there because like when you see the ad on the search engine results page, it's gonna, if somebody's kind of like searching fast or impulsively searching, you want them to like that ad copy to match their search term almost exactly, because it's just much more likely to get a quick click when that happens. And it also helps raise the ad relevance component of your quality scores. So we can see that like in this ad group, most of these click-through rates are in the 3 to 5% range. We've got an 8%er here, but we're not using our keyword very often within our ad copy. And if we look at our search keywords, we can see the ad relevance here is average, below average, below average. And ad relevance is one of the most controllable components of your quality score within your ad account. This expected click-through rate is typically raises when you have very refined ads that have been tested more thoroughly, or you're spending a lot more. And then the landing page experience is controlled by the quality of your landing page. But I'm going to pop over here towards the MSP lead generation ad group. And we can see again that our MSP lead generation and lead generation for MSP are our keywords within this ad group. And if I come over here to the ad copy and look at those, you can see that boom, right there, MSP lead generation matches our keyword exactly and is the first, is in headline 1 position and even in description 1 position. So this ad, and we can see that like we've got 4.5, 5.5, and 10.5% click-through rates here. So, these are resonating more with the searchers. They're getting higher click-through rates, and that's being reflected within the quality scores, which is a 7 to 10, and the ad relevance here is above average. That trick doesn't always work to the letter, but it works a lot. So definitely worth trying out. And when you get those higher quality scores, your ad will be shown in more auctions. You'll get better click-through rates, and just overall can perform better. Now I'll show you kind of why I violated that best practice on this MSP social media ad group. And that's really because when people are searching MSP social media, there's not a really great way to say that naturally within the ad copy. Now, since we've kind of identified a winner here on our split test, I might come through and substitute social media guide for MSPs for MSP social media. To me, that just doesn't really sound organic, which is why I started off with this baseline. That's definitely something somebody would type in a search engine, but it's not necessarily like something that would really like go well with like as a good advertisement. That said, again, I would plan to swap out that headline to see if I could raise the quality score on this ad group and split test it again here, but I'm going to wait till this ad hits at least 100 impressions before I do that. Okay. So that's why we're going to use an ad, a keyword in headline 1 or 2 position with our ads. And this is kind of the same sort of thing, so I'm not going to cover this one again, but this next item on the checklist is to use a keyword in your description slot too. So just, real quick, you can see that, again, we have MSP lead generation in this best practices ad group here. And within the ad copy, we're using MSP lead generation right here in description slot 1. And that's also in some of these responsive search ads, but you can't go wrong with that approach. It doesn't have to always be followed to the letter, but you can't go wrong with it. All right, So here's another one that's a good best practice, but always doesn't have to be followed to the letter. And that's each ad is completely filled out. All the headlines and all the descriptions have been filled out. So I have seen ads that outperform fully filled out ads that only utilize the minimum number of slots. So I think that's one headline and one description. But most of the time, you're going to get better performance if you fill out all the headlines and all the descriptions within your ads. And this is kind of also where you have to play a little bit of Google's game sometimes. You might even see that ads perform better from a click-through rate and conversion rate standing, but they will not be served in as many impressions because the quality score is oftentimes going to get lowered if you don't have all your available headlines and descriptions put out. And when you do that, you're going to pay more for your clicks because you're going to miss out on your quality score discount. And you're going to qualify for less auctions because your ad rank is generally going to be lower if you're not filling out all the headlines and descriptions. So that's kind of our, next, checkpoint there. Again, doesn't have to be followed to the letter, and you have to strike that balance between what you want as the advertiser and what Google wants in terms of the ads that it's serving to people on the search engine results page. Okay, so here we go with another kind of best practice. And that's that each ad is written in title case for all the headlines and descriptions. And I believe it's WordStream has a blog post. And there's several blog posts out there or kind of research pieces in Google Ads on this, but it's not like ads that are not written in title case are not going to get clicks and conversions, but it is on average shown to deliver better performance and lower costs when you write all of your headlines and descriptions in title case. And title case just means that the first letter of every single word is capitalized, aside from like acronyms here, which would all be capitalized. But these just stand out more on the search engine results page. They seem more authoritative and kind of impactful. So make sure that you're having title case for all your headlines and descriptions. Again, it doesn't have to be followed to the letter, but you can't go wrong by following that best practice. All right. Next kind of thing is we have each ad has optional display paths in all lowercase. So display path is, so right here you can kind of see that I've filled out this additional thing within a ad called a display path. So you can create a display path, which is really just like the subdirectory of the website that you want to present. So for instance, the actual final URL here, this ad, is tortoiseandairsoftware.com/IT company lead generation. But we're going to show the searcher that the URL is tortoiseandairsoftware.com/leadgen. And I've seen people do things like lead gen and have like an L and a G with capitalized here or something like that. And you can kind of see when you look at this URL that it just doesn't look right. Pretty much all the URLs you see on the web are going to be in all lowercase, so there's really no need to have capitalization within your display path, because it's just going to be one of those things that subconsciously tells the user that there's something wrong with this ad. It doesn't look right in my head. It doesn't follow like conventions of the web. So make sure that all of your display paths are in all lowercase when you're creating your ads. And the last one here in our checklist is that each ad's landing page URL matches the final URL exactly. So if I come over here to tortoiseandairsoftware.com and look at the URL, you can kind of see that this is what the URL appears to be like. And, I see sometimes people try to manually type out the URL And what they do is they type out tortoiseandhairsoftware.com or whatever their URL is, but that's not actually the final URL that the person hits. So if I copy this URL here from the headline here, and even right there, you can see https://tortoiseandhairsoftware.com. So it does not appear that there's a trailing slash here, but I'll show you. When I copy this and I paste it into Notepad, that boom, there is actually a trailing slash here on the end of that URL. And if you go through and you type in manually tortoiseandhairsoftware.com and omit that trailing slash from your ad's final landing page, then what happens is that URL will actually be redirected to tortoiseandhairsoftware.com with the trailing slash, and that's going to throw off your analytics. So if you're in analytics here and you're looking at your like channel reports or your Google Ads reports, what's that's going to cause to happen is that redirect's going to make that visit appear as if it were a direct visit. So it's going to misattribute the channel to direct rather than paid search, and then that just causes confusion and makes you lose the understanding of the value of paid search as a channel. So you definitely want to avoid that redirect and just make sure that your landing page final URL within your ad matches your final destination exactly. Ideally, always go through, take the URL and copy and paste it into that final URL slot whenever you're creating the ad. All right, so that was kind of a walkthrough of our checklist. I hope you found this valuable. Thanks again for downloading the 10-point checklist here on how to create high-performing ad groups in Google Ads. Now, there's a lot more that goes into managing a Google Ad account successfully than just creating the ad groups. This can be a great tool, this checklist, to help you get started with Google Ads, but as your account grows and your spend grows, quite frankly, you'll save yourself a bunch of money by outsourcing the activity to an experienced account manager that can help you get your campaigns, your ad groups, your keywords, and everything set up correctly, and also continue to help you manage the growth of your account and evolve your strategy over time. And that's something that we do. We charge a reasonable management fee for that activity, so definitely reach out to us here at Tortoise and Hare Software if you need help with the management of your Google Ads account group. And be sure to hit that subscribe button and follow along with us here on YouTube for more great tips and content. So again, I'm Hunter Nelson, Tortoise and Hare Software, and thank you again for downloading, and thanks for watching.